All right, so this is like a review of what we were going over last week. Okay, we covered very, very briefly at the end the parts of like leadership, because today, okay, well, for Dropbox 2, you are going to deal as well with what type of leadership approach you are going to get. But especially the thing that we were covering is porters. Two things, okay? Porter analysis on two aspects. The diamond, that is explaining the competitive advantage in global business, and the five forces. That's like an alternative, as you were saying, of the SWOT analysis, okay? That's at the company level. So on the video that I provided, this is from last class, okay? We were talking about the definition. We were giving concrete examples of the condition factor, okay? Or they have another name as well about the condition factor. But those are natural resources or like the human resources as well. Demand factors, related industries, and the competition, okay, is creating innovation. Very good. We got that. And a little bit more about this. And this could be when we say beyond porters, why is it important to analyze or to say yes? Michael Porter is an excellent analyst. He has been like doing quite a lot of research, analyzing more than 100 companies, but it's not enough anymore. Why? Anybody? Why is not enough? Technology. So if we talk, what is about technology? What do you mean?
Just like the advancements of technology has made it easier for CEOs or just anybody to be able to look stuff up at like the palms of their hands now, and then through the internet, just sitting behind a computer, just looking up for like companies just to find like the price that they're wanting and stuff like that.
For instance, very good. So as you were talking, managers, but not just the managers, everybody has got access to that digitalization, the use of the internet. So that's access of information, and information is key. One of the problems or difficulties that we were having when dealing with emerging markets, it's the information that is there is not accurate. Many of them were not doing the research properly, or they have difficulties to get to know the prices, for instance, okay? The supermarket. Why? Because they don't have maybe so many supermarkets. They have ultramarinos, for instance, and therefore they don't have the barcode, and the barcode is giving information of when, how often, okay, the prices. We were seeing that in our class of international marketing. This like digitalization is like a very, very important factor to get to know what is your niche, who are you going to sell that product to. So information, super important. The fact of globalization in general terms, globalization of markets, globalization of products, globalization of cultural aspects as well, and the deregulation. So there are less rules. There is less protectionism. We are going more towards that free market economy in a global area. If we have to talk as well, because that could be one issue, one critique about porters, okay, it's good, but it's not good enough. When we talk about the factors of national competitive advantage, take into account that idea works super well with industrialization when we are talking about factories, about the creation of cars, steel, okay, maybe computers, but not so, it does not work so well in other fields or in other economies like Finland. Finland is like a small economy where everything is based on innovation. So this model is not appropriate for the country of Finland or Australia or New Zealand. I didn't know before about that, but I was familiar with Finland and Norway. Okay, good. That's class 5, class 6 today. Wanted to make we have like different types of theories, okay, of what type of leadership are we going to adapt. Take into account that the leadership approach that you might have on your headquarters here in Hawaii might not be adequate, okay, when establishing in Korea. Let's give the example of Korea. If we are dealing with that, that has as well to do with the internationalization process, okay? Do you remember? So level 0, I don't do anything. I'm just checking the country on the internet. Level 1, I have done already some research. I'm importing. I have created a little bit of contact. Level 4, level 5, I already have my headquarters there, and therefore I have managers. I need managers there. I need leadership. What leadership approach I'm going to take? A very Kotler, for instance, that's one that a lot of students love. There's as well a leadership approach by PORTER as well. So I want to see these ones. And on the top, you will see the mind of a leader, Kotler itself. We have as well Dame Anita Roddick. She is the CEO of Body Shop. Fantastic. Another amazing leader is like the CEO and founder of Starbucks. We saw an interview already, okay? And especially for our assignment, I want you guys to analyze South Korea. The first example that I see there, India, Japan, okay? It's because like Keith Barberton, he's an analyst expert in international and global management, and he's been working in India. So the interview is about India, but he is actually one of the main collaborators of the website Doing Business with Korea. That I recommend you, no, not this website, hold on a second. Well, it's not here, but it's on the announcement. So here I only added the YouTube links, but there is a link. It's a website. It's fantastic for your Dropbox assignment, okay? It's about South Korea. So the author, Keith Barton, is like one collaborator of that website. And here we have a couple of links of like, actually some Koreans, okay? Are talking about the etiquette in Korea, and the change, okay, in the misunderstanding that many believe that they are like exactly like Japanese or Chinese, and it's not. That's Asian, Southeast Asia if you want, but Korean culture is becoming much more collaborative, and it's an evolving change, okay? So that's why these two, collaborative, and this one is like talking about those misunderstandings, misconceptions, okay? So here we have like the 5 forces, guys. Vertical, horizontal competition. I want to make this bigger. Okay, so here we are, the factor conditions. Diamond as a system. So approach to globalization, okay, like the demand conditions, rivalry, strategy, like the supporting industry, okay, another image. And look at this one. I'm going to share this with you guys. Dropbox and email, because I think that can be kind of interesting for your Dropbox, okay? And I believe that you go over Korea as well, or South Korea on module 3. So module 4. We have Cambodia.
Yeah, module 2 assignment 2 is Cambodia.
Cambodia.
Yeah.
And maybe it's module 3, but it talks about South Korea. So this is the discussion, but then when it goes over that. So that's why I'm mentioning. So please, okay. If we are talking about demand conditions, for instance, please, can you read for me? Student 1. Demand conditions.
High computing and internet penetration, sophisticated internet usage, demand for high-level technology and market, such as mobile internet, widespread social perception for technology and for IT, privatization and deregulation.
Right. What is privatization? Students who have been with me in
Less
English.
government, more private. Right? Less government control.
Less government control, correct, but privatization is the result of becoming private. Something that was public before it becomes private now, okay? So here in America we had that, the Post, right? It was public.
The what? What post?
Yeah.
Like the newspaper.
No, the Post, when we are like sending letters.
Oh,
Post office.
it's still government. U.S. But yeah, there's.
But it's run privately. There might be there are certain things that maybe the government is there, but there was a process of privatization there. There has been a big process for privatization of hospitals in the state of Hawaii in the 90s, in the 80s. A whole process of privatization of hospitals, clinics that were, public become private. Okay? And sometimes there are only certain aspects. Okay?
Yeah, in the military, though, there are some, like, you guys may can attest to it, but there's government-run, government-owned, government everything run facilities, like, such as housing. The government used to run housing, so they would hire people, government workers, to maintain the properties. Well, they found out it would be easier just to let a private company come in, build the houses, and the government just pays them the bill.
Correct.
So it went from government run, government paid for to
Contracting.
yeah,
Contracting. So that would be a privatization aspect. Okay?
Yeah, I mean that's what they call it.
Maybe not. Yes.
Privatized housing.
That's it. So privatization, deregulations as well. Why are we talking about that? Because traditionally, and what we were thinking about South Korea, very paternalistic, right? And but they have as well Confucius there. But nowadays, like all the Korean and the young Korean generations, they cannot go with like a low speed internet. Everything is changing. We have all these South Koreans that are doing the MBA in America and the best of the best. And many Americans go there and they have misconceptions, right? So the demand of the users, the Korean, are demanding this. So therefore, the economy is growing in that because they want that. Let's give another example. For instance, please, student. Okay.
Your endowments?
Yeah.
Strong IT infrastructure, well-educated, competent IT workforce, favorable IT policy, Korean government vision and initiatives, IT cluster, IT education.
So,
So it's a lot of like, there's a couple duplicates, right? Like without IT education, you're not going to have well-educated IT workforce.
Yeah. Well, but it's not necessarily to have the cluster. What is the cluster, please? What is a cluster when we talk about business?
I would assume like competition from multiple companies in the same region doing sort of the same
That was
thing,
like
but
the Silicon Valley.
they're-
we talked about.
Like the Silicon Valley, very
it's
good.
creating innovation.
Correct, it creates innovation, but here where we are talking about those factors, like what the country, the strength of the country. The country's strength of like Saudi Arabia, again, that could be the oil, and India, IT. So strong IT infrastructure, they have that, well-educated workforce, and they keep on furthering their education.
Or is that,
Maybe that's
is
why.
Or is that IT education meaning like to new consumers, like educating them on products and services that they may not ever use?
I believe that it's more like towards like a college level, or in every level of like students, people who get into that. So they are strong on this. So if you want to study IT maybe and you are in the region, computer science, go to South Korea, okay? Instead of going to Vietnam, for instance. Related and supporting industry, so mobile phones. I want you to check that. Those are like a couple of examples, but there was another one very good about body shop.
I haven't seen the word innovation on there at all. I mean, that's key for South Korea, right?
Of course.
I mean, because with China next door, you know.
Yeah, but don't.
It's like they can provide
That would be the supporting industry.
With China coffee.
The supporting industry that creates innovation.
But the difference is
related.
that like
Yeah.
I've been stationed in Korea twice, but the
Yeah.
age gap, like there's a lot of like there's baby boomers right now in our country, but we have enough younger people to
Cover.
we have a good range of age groups,
Yeah.
where they have a huge gap in that sense. So China's their goods a lot cheaper than South Korea, probably. Because South Korea actually, they pay well, from my experience. Like I got, my boss is married to a South Korean woman, they lived there like 15 years.
Yeah.
She goes back all the time. They get paid pretty well, people that work there. It's pretty good salary range for a small country like that.
Yeah.
So in the future, like, I don't know, China's probably gonna dominate. So, but innovate, like Samsung, innovation keeps them around.
Yeah, but this is because of the support and the related industry as well.
Yeah.
Okay, not only, but the factor environment, everything is related if you see to innovation and technology. Like in South Korea, they're big on that. Anyway, so here there could be another diamond model for Mexico. Okay, check this one as well. And I think some countries, Denmark, Italy, I was talking about the tiles, ceramic tiles, right? Korea, apparel, automobiles, Sweden, Japan, USA advertising, motion pictures, detergents. What? USA should have many more. I think that they just got a couple.
If you
Come
see motion
on.
pictures, then you should have like India should be up there.
Hey, yeah. If we have India, if they had India, that would be working.
'Cause
Yeah.
they make a lot more movies than we do. I
Yeah, a
think.
lot more.
Huh?
A lot more.
Bollywood or whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
This is example of Finland.
It's like South Korea. They're huge in like.
The drama.
Oh yeah, like what do you call it? Like Days of Our Lives. Though they got like 50 million of those shows. They love it. We're here. They're.
Correct? We're talking about a nation per se, but I want to extrapolate that and put it into the 5 forces. Okay, company level. So this is the example of the video I prepared for you guys of the CEO of Body Shop, of that leader. Okay, Diana. So here we are. Please, can you read
Which one?
the first one, starting with the
Potential entrance?
yeah.
Okay. High entry barriers, mature market, long established companies.
So we're talking about the risk that we might have. Okay, so potential is we have like a low risk on that. Why? Because this is body shop has been established. It's very, very, very well established, right? It makes sense that they don't have such a threat of like new entrants or potential entrants unless we have like a company that is like revolutioning everything that I don't know yet. We never know. Okay, please.
Which one
Yeah.
better?